Welcome to Lock It Down Sports. I'm your host, Locke Hoover, and as always, you can follow me on X at Lock It Up Media. That's Lock It Up Media on X. You can also check us out at E5280 Sports. That's E5280 Sports. And today on the show, we're going to have a look around college football. It's all about the highlights and a matchup in Knoxville. And that's exactly where we're going to start today's show, with the clash in Knoxville between Georgia and Tennessee. And I don't think this game is going to be like the last 2 years. Granted, the last 8 years haven't been good either for Tennessee. But I say it's not going to be like the last 2 years because last 2 years, they didn't have a quarterback that could efficiently and actively run Heupel's system. I've seen enough in 2 games that Joey Aguilar can run the system obviously way better than Nico and way better than Gatling gun Joe Milton. Yeah, I'm sure he's going to overthrow a deep pass or two, but it's not going to be every single throw. And that's going to be nice. That's, a big part of the Tennessee and Josh Heupel offense of running the ball up the middle, creating space, spreading out your receivers, trying to open up lanes in the running game, and then hitting those quick passes whatever side you have the numbers on. Because you have one extra blocker, you're going to hit, you're going to hit that receiver, or then you're going to stretch the field, hit the deep ball. You've got a quarterback that can be accurate and actually hit the deep ball to stretch the field, which opens up the run game. I think a factor in this game is going to be the injuries. Tennessee has 2 of their top corners out in Gibson and McCoy. So really it's going to be Hood and then true freshman Ty Redmond to step in as your top 2 corners and start. Redmond stepped in, looked good, pretty good against Syracuse. Obviously looked fine against East Tennessee State. But okay against Syracuse. Now, this is your test. You're playing a different level. I mean, he's got to be excited too. He's a Georgia kid. Local Georgia Metro Atlanta kid. I don't know if he got recruited by Georgia or not. I do not remember, but still, big time power school and a Georgia high school gets to go up against Georgia, and looks like he's going to start or at least play a lot as a true freshman. So that's going to be a big test. Bo Carter's going to be in there as well. Where they start him at the star position, maybe move him outside. Jalen McMurray also in there at star as well. But yeah, I think it's going to be Reed. How does he handle it? And how does the secondary as a whole handle it against a top team? This is a top 10, top 5 team, playoff team, pretty much year in and year out since Kirby's gotten here. O-lines look good against Syracuse. David Sanders has not played yet. Maybe not play against Georgia. They say he's looking like he's probably going to be out against Georgia, which is a big loss. Even if he doesn't start, that's a quality depth piece that would probably end up playing a lot of snaps because he was pegged as a starter going into the season, especially starting against Syracuse, but still nicked up. So, of course, didn't play against ETSU, and now he's not playing against Georgia, which is tough. So, I wonder if this is going to be a linear injury, or he's going to be hurt a lot more. It's a more severe injury than they're leading on to be. So, a wait and see. Sadly, doesn't look like he's going to be playing against Georgia, which once again, at the very least, it's a depth loss if he wasn't going to start. Now, Georgia hasn't shown anything in their last 2 games, which makes sense, probably by design, against Marshall and Austin P. You don't have to. You can be very plain. You can be very vanilla. Now, is some of that because of the opponent? Some of it because of Gunnar Stockton? I think the answer is yes. More the opponent, but maybe some Gunnar Stockton. So I don't know how much Tennessee's really taken away from these two game films. I would have to imagine they went back and looked at the SEC championship game, that second half against Texas when Stockton came in, and then the postseason as well, to truly get a feel of what he can do, idea of how he plays against true competition, and opening up of the playbook. Yeah, you're going to have some different names, of course, different characters, but gives you a feel for what Gunnar Stockton can do, what they're overall looking at, what he could potentially be in hopefully it's a primetime or premier game. Remember, too, this is also his first true road game, because all the other games were neutral sites. Penn State, neutral site. Texas, neutral site. So, yes, he's been in other stadiums. He's not a true freshman, but this is his first time it's going to be loud. They're going to be laying Rocky Top. The crowd's going to be fired up. They're going to be in it. 3:30 start. So first true road game, see how he handles it. Not saying he can't, but it'll be different. Different environment, that's for sure. I think a big thing, we've gotten torched middle of the field and by the tight end, the 12 personnel, 2 tight ends lining up. Now, yes, some of that has to do with Brock Bowers. I mean, first round pick, you saw what he did last year for the Raiders. So yeah, is that some of it to have a first round pick at tight end? For sure. But also, you got to clean that part up of the game. You be ready for it. They like to run that personnel in that style. Now, this is a big game for Josh Heupel for all the reasons you can think of. A lot of playoff implications here, because you're looking at got to beat probably 2 out of the 3, maybe at least split with Georgia, with Alabama. Oklahoma looks tough, and Florida. And we see how Florida goes. So you still got to handle your business against them. But those were kind of the games you're like, all right, Georgia's going to be a tough one. We need to win it, but if we lose, it doesn't kill us. Alabama, still talent. I've said this, still a talented team, still good, but you got to take care of business. And then you got Oklahoma. Granted, that's in Knoxville. That's a game you need, and Florida. You could probably lose 2 games and still get in, but it's got to be the right 2. Say you lose to Georgia and Oklahoma. All right, you're okay. You're all right. Georgia and Alabama you lose to, probably still all right. You lose to Florida. That's looking like right now. We'll get into Florida a little bit later, and their deal. So that's the playoff kind of bubble you've got going on. And I think also for Tennessee, this program where they're at, and Josh Heupel, they can beat anybody at home. That's where Josh Heupel's gotten this program to. They can beat anybody at home, except for that one. And that's Georgia. Georgia's the only school they haven't beaten, and home or road. That's how you continue to bring this program, the Tennessee program, to that next level, that top tier level of we can beat anybody home. I don't care who it is. I don't care if it's the New York Giants. Okay, I'm kidding. Obviously, they're not beating an NFL team, but you get my point, right? You got to maintain. You got to beat anybody at home, and then scrap and claw and fight when you go to the Swamp, when you go to Athens, when you go to Oklahoma, when you go to Alabama, etc. But that's where Tennessee is right now. Also, I think it's going to be a wait and see too of this offense. Can they actually get points? Can they actually move the ball? Can they actually make it a compelling game? Because the offense is better this year than it was last year. But I don't think the defense is as good as the Tennessee defense was last year either. Does some of that have to do with our secondary being banged up? Yeah, I think it will. And it has currently, and it does. So that's big. Better offense, not as good defense. But even we've had a pretty good offense with Hendon Hooker, scored 13 points. And they scored that a late touchdown to make it 13 at the end. And it was like, okay, we're kind of out of it. It's kind of already over. Cool, we scored. But it's kind of done. So 3:30 kick in Knoxville. It's going to be loud. That stadium's going to be rocking. It's going to be ruckus. So based on what I've seen, I think Georgia's going to win, sadly. Until you beat them, you think they're going to lose. And that's kind of where I'm at. Hopefully I'm wrong. Hopefully Tennessee's able to overcome and get over a big hump and beat Georgia. Now, I kind of want to bounce around college football a little bit from last week, as I didn't really lock in per se on a game during night and during the afternoon tilt, because Tennessee was playing ETSU, so it's like, all right, they're fine. Let me kind of bounce around and see what's going on in the overall landscape of college football. Florida State. Let's start with Mississippi State and Arizona State. Man, what a big signature win for Mississippi State. Arizona State, that's tough. Cross country, dealing with the cowbells in a loud, hostile, hungry fan base in Mississippi State. And watching that game, they look pretty sharp. And Mississippi State might not be an easy out this year for any opponent, any SEC school on their schedule. Tennessee's got to play Mississippi State. They have Georgia. Then they've got UAB and Mississippi State. And that's not an easy of an out as you would originally think it would be. It's like, Mississippi State should be all right. But they look pretty good against Arizona State. And they got the W. So good for them. Starving fan base. And might be like I said, a pretty good team. You can't just, it's not Vanderbilt. So it's you have to show up and play. Now, something that's a little bit of surprise about was Oregon, Oklahoma State, where Oregon put up 69, I believe, on Oklahoma State. What a beatdown Oregon gave Oklahoma State, especially offensively, obviously. I thought it would be decently close-ish. I think it's been interesting that it's been pretty quiet with the Oregon talk this year. Not a whole lot of the Ducks have been talked about, and they look fast. They look explosive on offense. And obviously, when you score 69, you're pretty much getting your way. You can run any play, draw anything up, and do what you want. But I mean, it's not a surprise. It's Oregon's gonna be there. The hadn't dropped off, and they look very much like the Oregon they have the last probably 10 years or so. And boy, do they look fast and explosive offensively. Oklahoma, Michigan. That was a fun game to watch. I was flipping back and forth between that and the Arizona State Mississippi State game. And Oklahoma's got a gamer at quarterback. Media looked good at quarterback. Looks like a leader, can lead the offense, run the offense. And Oklahoma, they looked okay last year. First year in the SEC. They got hammered by Tennessee at home at Oklahoma. But they looked okay last year. They looked good this year. You know, with some of their transfers. See what happens. And so far, they took care of business against Michigan. Definitely going to be a tougher game for Tennessee than you didn't know. It's like, we'll see what happens. But it is in Knoxville, so, and you know what I think about playing in Knoxville, where Heupel's got this program. They can beat anybody. So Oklahoma looked very sharp and impressive. Someone who did not look sharp and did not look impressive was the Gators at home, squaring off against South Florida. And like I said, I was switching around during the afternoon games, and I was like, this South Florida game's kind of close. Let me go to that. And I watched probably the last 7, 8, 10 minutes of the game, and Florida looked like Florida, which struggled on offense, okay on defense. And it surprised me. It really did how highly ranked Florida was coming into the season. I mean, they finished off last year promising, and I guess they really loved what they saw from DJ Legway. And that's really where they got this high ranking. I was like, Florida's that high based on a strong stretch of how they finished last year? It's like, that's interesting. Well, now the season really begins for Florida. Currently have 8 ranked schools left on the schedule. Yeah, I mean, it's still early to see what these teams are, but that's just, of course, since we're only in game 2, just a rough overview of if all these rankings kind of play out, 8 schools. And I don't know if Tennessee faces a Billy Napier Florida Gators team. I think he's got to be on thin ice. He's 20-20 at Florida in 40 games. Now, let me read off 2 other coaches that had better records and are no longer at Florida. Jim McElwain didn't even make it to game 40. And he was 22-12 in 3.5 years. Didn't even get to 40 games. Dan Mullen made it to 49 games. 34-15 in 4 years. Both those coaches got fired and had less than 20 losses. 12 for McElwain in 3.5 years. 15 for Mullen in 49 games in 4 years. Napier already at 20. So how long how much longer does Billy Napier make it when, interesting too, there's already been a boat of confidence come out from the AD for Billy Napier. Because schools and programs like Florida, you get 3-4 years. His best record at Florida is 8-5, and that was last year. McElwain won 10 games and then 9 games his first 2 years. Got fired after 3 and 4 start. Dan Mullen went 10-3 and 11-2 his first 2 years. Then his last year's 4th year, he got fired for a 5-6 season. You still got LSU. That's who's coming up this week. You've got Tennessee down the line. You've got Miami on the schedule. You've got Florida State, who looked good. You've got Georgia. It's not an easy road. I highly doubt Tennessee will be facing a Billy Napier coach Florida team the last game of the season, or the second to last or third to last game of the season. They kind of flopped the schedule a little bit this year. Now, I did like the theory of playing South Florida when the game was scheduled because it runs a similar offense as Tennessee with Alex Golish, former OC at Tennessee, now the head coach of South Florida. You kind of get to play their offense, and then you get to play Tennessee the next week. It was good plan, strategy, fresh in their mind of, okay, let's correct our mistakes. Let's win the game. Let's beat South Florida. Let's correct our mistakes and get ready for Tennessee. A lot better athletic-wise, a lot better athletes on the team. So that was the hindsight of it, and I think it was a smart plan, except for A, when you lose, and then B, just how the schedule got flopped of being the last game, or the second or third to last game in SEC play. So it's going to be a tight ship and on thin ice, I think, for Billy Napier. Now, if I was a basketball fan, I'd be really ticked off about what Adam Silver said. So when asked about all the different streaming services and stuff it would take to watch the NBA, he said there are over 75 games over the air. By that, he means free games to watch, on basic television or you use your antenna, etc. So it's like, okay. But then this is the part I would be really mad at. And I feel like he just like spit in your face. He said, we are very much a highlight sport. And there are a lot of free places to watch the highlights, i.e. Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, Twitter, Facebook. If I said that, I would be like, you've got to be kidding me. We're just a highlight sport. We don't care about the commissioner, me, the president that runs the league. We don't care per se about the games. We just care about the highlights. We care about the 3 straight threes from Steph Curry, the big dunk from LeBron James, that crossover play. That's what we care about. We care about a run from a Lynn Sanity, when Jeremy Lin got hot those years ago, that hot run, that's what we care about, the highlights, not the game. And to me, I'd be so mad if commissioner not caring, not promoting, not really caring or promoting the sport. Hey, don't worry about it. Don't watch the games. Just watch 30 seconds to a minute clip to see what happens. Oh, you saw the Hawks won 105-93. It's fine. You saw a 30-second clip of Trae Young hitting some threes and a dunk. You saw it. You're good. That's all. We just care about star players and highlights. We don't care about the teams. Fans, don't watch our games. Don't go to the arenas. Don't spend money. Just watch it on YouTube. Watch it on Twitter. I think this is also. I don't care about the regular season. I really don't. Don't watch. I don't care. I mean, and we've kind of seen that already, obviously, with the playing tournament. Basically expanding the playoffs. It's head scratching if a commissioner said that. I think also too it's a spit in the face to players by saying you're 2.5 hours. Who cares? I just want that one viral moment in all these games I can grab from you. Your 2.5 hours of hard work, who cares? And I'm shocked he said that because the NFL is on multiple streaming services, from Netflix to YouTube to Amazon to all your streaming packages to Peacock. And if you want an NFL ticket, I mean, it's unreal how long the list is. He didn't say, I'm sorry, we're going to cost a lot to watch your games. Oh, it doesn't matter. You just need to see that Saquon Barkley big run or that Tua Tagovailoa to Tyreek Hill 50-yard bomb. That Pat Mahomes throw across the middle to Travis Kelce. And then we can show Taylor Swift. Just watch those highlights. No. I would be so mad if a commissioner came out and said that. Just complete, to me, disrespect. And it's a really, really bad look for an NBA commissioner to say that. As always, you can follow me on Twitter at Lock It Up Media. That's Lock It Up Media on Twitter. You can also listen to me at Lock It Down Sports. That's Lock It Down Sports. I'm Locke Hoover. I'll talk to you next week.